It's been nearly a year and a half since our last PlayStation showcase. It's the one event we could rely on nearly each year where Sony showed off all of their exclusive game trailers and revealed other games they had in development. So what's with all of the radio silence lately? Why wasn't there a showcase in 2022? Well, unfortunately, there is a reason for it, or at least a reported reason, and it all goes back to Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Let's rewind all the way back to January 2022. Microsoft announced its acquisition of Activision for a whopping $70 million. For any of you guys who are unaware, Activision is the creator of the franchise Call of Duty, one of the largest game franchises ever. You see, while Sony has built their brand on creating their own IPs or making their own successful exclusives, Microsoft has struggled to do that with their own properties. Just look at what happened with Halo Infinite last year. Halo used to be the biggest franchise in gaming and something Microsoft could really tout as their own successful creation. However, Halo has struggled to remain relevant. Xbox has continued to mishandle their own properties for years, and thus has fallen behind in the console competition with PlayStation 5. Microsoft has now resorted to buying existing IPs in order to bring them over to Xbox exclusively. For example, their acquisition of Bethesda, or ZeniMax, which will make the highly anticipated Starfield game for Microsoft an exclusive. When this acquisition was made, the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, said his goal isn't to take away games from other players, and that they want more people to be able to play games. But with their first release since purchasing Bethesda, they made Starfield an exclusive. Their very first game since purchasing ZeniMax/Bethesda is now going to be an Xbox exclusive. You can see why lawmakers would be skeptical of allowing another major acquisition to go to Xbox, because they don't want there to be a monopoly, especially with a franchise as huge as Call of Duty. So how does Sony and their PlayStation showcase fit into this story that I'm telling? Well, according to a reputable leaker, Millie A, the ongoing CMA investigation for Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard has indeed delayed any plans for a showcase for Sony. Exclusive titles and other first-party IPs were locked in. However, Sony believes a showcase will add weight to the Microsoft argument that they're taking to the courts. So essentially, Sony is concerned that if they revealed any of their major titles and exclusives, then that would mean Microsoft would have a valid excuse for why PlayStation would be okay without Call of Duty. If Sony were to do a showcase like they normally do, then you would see nothing but PlayStation and all of their games trending everywhere. The hype would be unreal. However, right now, Sony doesn't want all of that attention. They want to make it look like they're going to hurt without Call of Duty. That is, if Xbox makes it an exclusive. Currently, the FTC is looking to block this deal from happening, but nothing's been made official. The sad thing is, recently there has been a report that Microsoft is going to be laying off nearly 10,000 employees to save a little over $1 billion. However, they're dead set on making this acquisition for $70 billion. So they've chosen to essentially get rid of some employees to save a few dollars, but have enough money to spend on such a huge property. $70 billion is a lot of money, of course, and it could be used for keeping some of those employees, especially for games that are struggling right now in their live service department, such as Halo Infinite. I'm a big fan of Halo if you don't know already, but that game has been struggling and it seems like they really lack employees, so laying off more employees doesn't seem like that would necessarily be the best move. So where do we stand right now in all of this? How does Sony plan to market their games for 2023? Specifically, Marvel Spider-Man 2, their biggest release of 2023 and pretty much the only thing I talk about on this channel. Xbox plans on doing their own little reveal conference later this month. And normally you would expect Sony to be competitive and show off theirs soon after, but that isn't the case right now. Right now, Sony is quietly promoting their stuff with little blog posts, but nothing major. They keep saying, mark your calendars for all of these games coming out, but they're not really showing anything off for those games. If I had to guess what Sony is going to do later this year, I would say that we're likely going to get a small PlayStation State of Play sprinkled throughout the year, maybe one or two. each state of play would be filled with mostly third-party titles, and then one bigger reveal at the end of the state of play. Similar to the state of play we got last year when they showed off God of War Ragnarok as it got closer to that game's release. I don't think that there will be any major showcase revealing a ton of stuff like the last showcase we got in 2021. The last one had reveals for like Knights of the Old Republic and Wolverine, Spider-Man 2, and more. I don't see them doing anything crazy like that unless this deal between Microsoft and Activision officially gets blocked. If it gets blocked, then anything can happen. I would expect something major to happen because there's no longer that concern from Sony's end. The sad thing is that the business aspect of this is the reason we have yet to see anything from Marvel Spider-Man 2, at least anything substantial. That is, if we do believe Millie A's report, of course, which I'm inclined to do so. She's been right more often than not. I personally wish PlayStation would just stop being reactionary and just focus on their own stuff, but I'm a fan. What else would you expect? I'm not leading this business. I just want to see my favorite games. But anyways, I would love to know what you guys think about all of this information and where you stand on it. That's going to do it for me on this one, guys, though. Be sure to hit that thumbs up if you just want to show any support. I'd also really like to know how many of you guys are dying to see some gameplay for Marvel Spider-Man 2. Hit that like button and show everyone how much we want that gameplay. But that's going to be it for me on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.